Hey, welcome back. In this episode, I'm gonna work on trying to get these bolts out. I gotta do that before I can actually put the floor in. It's kind of what I figured out the last time. It's been cold outside. Today it's not too bad, but it's been cold, so I haven't been able to get into the garage to work on it. But I got a little bit of window today where it's not too bad out here. So I'm gonna work on, I've got a couple of strategies I'm gonna use to try to get these bolts out. Hopefully we're gonna be able to get them out today, and then that'll set us up to actually prep to put the whole floor in, and maybe we get that done this weekend too. So let's just jump into it. So somebody made a suggestion in the comments to soak these. I've used PB Blaster, but also to do a mixture, 50% of acetone and 50% power steering fluid. So I tried that. I mixed it up, and I had the car sitting flat and just poured it in and let it sit actually for a couple of days. Maybe you can see on here, I took the angle grinder and just ground it down flat to give me a good place to hook onto, to grab onto with the vice grips. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just try to get them off here with the vice grips and see if they'll come out now. That is not it. That one's definitely not budging. That is not budging either. So the next thing I'm going to do is try to weld a nut on there on the top of it, and that'll get me something to be able to get on there pretty solid. See if I can crank it off. So let me dig around and see if I can find a nut that'll fit on, and I'll weld it on and see how it goes. So after, if you're like me, you keep drawers full of nuts and bolts, extra stuff. After kind of digging in through, I'm actually going to use this one because it threaded actually onto the bolt a little bit. It's about halfway threaded down, so I feel like I can weld the whole thing on the inside of this, and hopefully it'll hold pretty well. So I'm going to clean off the top of it with a wire wheel, and that way it'll give me a nice clean surface. Then I'm going to try to weld it and see if it'll hold enough to get that bolt out of there. All right, let's fire up the welder, get it attached. Let's hope it works. weld job for sure. So after trying to use vice grips to pull this bolt out and trying to weld a nut on the end of it, which didn't work, the weld didn't hold. What I ended up doing is just drilling the whole bolt out, and I just started with a small drill bit, kept getting bigger. Once I got down to where I knew I was getting close, I took a tap and ran it through there. And basically, again, I've said it in other videos, I actually kept the bolt that I broke off and got out on the other side, and measured it and realized it's a 3/8 with a 24 thread. So that's the tap I used. I drilled it out as close as I could, and then just eventually got the tap going, and it did end up pushing what was left of the bolt out the bottom of the other side. So there's plenty of thread there. I know I've tested it, and I think it'll hold. So this one's out, and I think I'm just going to basically take the same approach on the other one. I'll cut it flat, drill it out as far as I can, and then use the tap to basically clean out the threads or create new threads if that's what it takes. So I'm encouraged by that. I've got one of them out. I'll get the other one out, and then we can start on the actual getting the floor in. So I've been out working this morning. It's a little colder this morning, but some of the things that I've gotten done is I went ahead and patched this little spot here. I attached the this end panel that I had ready to go, so I spot welded it and stitched it across. The other thing that I did was I wanted to build this part right here up a little bit higher. There's supposed to be a flange there that continues all the way around, and underneath here it had rusted out and it was gone. But that made a gap when you put the floor in that didn't have it sit. It just didn't sit right, and I knew it was going to be a problem. I'd have to pound it down, and just didn't like the way it was going to look. So I went ahead and welded some pieces in here to just kind of build this back up so that it would sit better. So I'm ready to test fit the floor in and hopefully get it to sit right. I can clamp it in, and then that'll allow me then to go ahead and start working on that diagonal piece in the footwell that I never have gotten to. That's gonna obviously have to be done before we put the floor in. So let's test fit the floor and let's see what it looks like. Okay, I have the floor clamped in, and it honestly, it lines up great. The gaps are actually pretty decent. It's not gonna be anything I'm gonna have to really shave down. It all fits good. Everything's clamped in place. So at this point, I'm gonna flip the car over and start working on this diagonal piece in the footwell. Well, the plan was today to come out and work on this diagonal piece in the footwell and move further along on getting the floor put in, but South Carolina got hit with, in our area, we got hit with like 5+ inches of snow. It's way too cold out here to deal with that. Plus there's some other things I've got to deal with the snow being here. So I'm gonna end this video here, and hopefully next weekend we'll get to the part that I really wanted to get to with this, putting this floor pan in. So I'm gonna stop it for now, but stick with it. Hopefully next time we'll get it all finished.